Welcome to the series finale of my epic 7,000 kilometre road trip down the east coast of Australia and back up through central New South Wales and Queensland. This episode was one of extremes with some high highs and some very low lows as I finish up my trip of a lifetime in my dream vehicle I've been building for the last 2 years, my 79 series Landcruiser. So sit back, relax and enjoy what was an absolute roller coaster of a week where I'll see some amazing scenery while injuring myself and breaking my new $2,000 camera in the process, but not before capturing some of the most incredible scenes that you'll only see here and nowhere else. Let's begin. In this, the final episode of the series, we begin our trip with a stint from Sundown National Park to my very first hip camp. To say this was an experience would definitely be an understatement.
So I made it to the Balonne River retreat, and got into the gate, no dramas, a few flies around, and I went down to the river to see what it looked like, and I don't think I want to camp on this whole side of the property because there's like a bloke playing country music at max capacity, like on the fence line. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, I'll go for a bit more of a drive around and see what I can find, but I might have a chat. There's a bloke pretty close to here all set up camp, so I might go and have a chat with him and see what he reckons.
Now, luckily the music eventually stopped and I was able to fully soak in the scenery and enjoy a sunset you'll only find in this part of the world. Back on the road and I headed through Roma to stop at Injune where I got fuel and pushed on to Carnarvon Gorge. I ended up checking into the caravan park there and went to my first hike of the trip, Mickey Creek.
So I just turned left off the main highway there, and now I've got another 40 k's of this kind of like pretty much it's a double lane. It's pretty close to a single, but it's got some grass shoulders, not too bad. And then in the distance there is the gorge. You can kind of see the rock faces and stuff, which I'm sure forms part of it. So very exciting stuff. Move. They must have come down for a little drink.
This hike was a good taster of things to come. The walk begins with sparse and dry terrain. As you slowly progress into the gorge though, you notice the vegetation thickening and everything becomes a lot greener. This hike doesn't offer much compared to the ones deeper in the gorge, but it's a quick hike that's close to the road and can be done quickly and easily. A swim at the rock pool is also mandatory after a big day, which is very close by. There are no showers at the caravan park where I stayed at, so the freezing waters of the rock pool will have to suffice. I headed back to my campsite where I was able to capture some stunning scenes of the surrounding area at dusk. But to my surprise, it would only get better with a sky full of stars and the full view of the Milky Way as night fell. It's a new day, but the vlog suddenly ends here, guys, because as I headed towards my first of the 6 locations I would visit that day, I slipped on one of the river crossing stepping rocks and ended up falling into the water below. I ended up injuring my wrist and elbow, and worst of all, my ego, as I landed on my new $2,000 camera. So my primary form of shooting video for this episode was gone. So please bear with me as I attempt to finish off the series with some photos and videos taken from various devices. There are several highlights of this area. Some of my favorites were the art gallery, which features over 2,000 engravings, ochre stencils, and freehand paintings. All of the images have their own meaning specific to the people of this area. For example, nets symbolize an area where family members were laid to rest. They were also hand stenciled on the rock where the left hand represents something that was received from the area, so often spiritual, for example, strength, and the right hand meant an offering was made. There were also a variety of other images depicted throughout the gallery and in places around the gorge. Another great place was the amphitheatre, which was a great spot with its own little ecosystem. And although precarious to get to as I'm not a fan of heights, it was a special place to just sit and listen to the sound of nature, echoing through the barrel-like structure. The Moss Garden and even the visitor areas were also fantastic. It's so accessible to get to some of these areas around there, so you don't need to do the really hectic hikes, but there is a lot of great scenery, pretty accessible from the car park as well, and offers a little bit of an adventure, but also great to see a few people around as well. So it's not completely remote, but definitely make sure you're prepared for the hikes. Unfortunately though, my recent luck with good weather has run out, and on the last night, the rain fell once more. This drove me out of the area where I eventually drove home, ending what was an amazing 6 weeks on the road. Overall, this entire trip was a testing one. The poor weather, injuries, long days on the road, and coming down with the flu in the first week of the trip definitely made me miss home. However, I was lucky enough to meet a lot of very kind and like-minded people on the road. Almost every camp I went to, I was able to strike up a conversation with random campers and share experiences which rekindled my passion to continue traveling to new and exciting places. I was fortunate enough to help others on this trip too, which made me thankful for the skills I've learned as a result of being raised by good people and having this channel to prepare me for these situations. I of course couldn't forget about the people close to me who shared my adventure with me either in person or in spirit. My friends, family and viewers following along with the videos and supporting me to go on this trip means the world to me. Sometimes I need a nudge out the door, and I'm glad I have surrounded myself with people who are very good at nudging. I want to give a special shout out to my sister Isabel, who not only followed every episode of the series, but also allowed me to stay at her apartment in Sydney until I was feeling well enough to continue on my way. To my mates Kai and Lauren, Fraser Island was an awesome time, and I'm glad I didn't go alone. Thank you for getting footage and photos of my car every 10 minutes. I have lots of pictures now, thanks. And of course, thank you to my parents for looking after their house while I was away. Your messages of encouragement and late night Starlink check-ins were the highlight of my days when it felt like the weather and the world was against me. To the companies and people who have provided either their services or products to assist me with the build of my dream truck, thank you. It didn't miss a beat. Not a single major repair was needed, and it was comforting knowing everything on the Landcruiser has been built to a high standard and is fit for purpose. This was the first but certainly not the last expedition I'll be doing, so make sure that you follow along with the channel. We've got some awesome content coming up, some more build content, some more reviews, and of course some more travel content in the very near future. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with you more content of this amazing country that I'm very proud to call home. I'll see you guys very shortly in the next one. Take care.